My hand's pointing to the 12. I am on the hour.
On the hour.
Such is politics.
It's a painful business.
On the hour.
What you mustn't do in politics is listen to people.
It's a painful business.
Such is politics.
First of all, I've said consistently that the recovery will be in the second half of the year. I've said that time and time and time again.
Tentacles.
I'm Christopher Morris. Good news. Today's crust.
The headlines.
Panic as European average falls below the European average. Defrocked cleric eats car park. And it's war, says Prince Harry.
On the hour.
Plus, coming up, Douglas Hurd outlines government plans to convert Kenneth Clarke into a car.
We decided on the suspension.
Cross-party support as Paddy Ashdown test drives the minister.
What comes first is manoeuvring.
And Kenneth Baker tells us why Clarke will become Britain's biggest-selling family car.
You look at the pictures of it. There are many estates that have greater problems than this.
But first, the news. The wave of inner-city disturbances continued unabated last night. Gangs of youths left a trail of destruction by breaking into the inner cities and driving them around at great speeds. Police chased the Moss Side district of Manchester for over 2 hours down the M6, but lost it in the fog. And in the Midlands, riot squads had to confiscate Droitwich from a gang of thugs who were trying to drive it over a cliff. And Kidderminster has been found abandoned in a hedge. Home Secretary Kenneth Baker said, "The day of the Yahoo is upon us."
On the hour, holding up a net in the strong breeze.
Time for sport now with Alan Partridge. And talking of strong breezes, Alan, you're a pretty strong man.
Well, certainly, like to think I can do a bit of the old weights, get the old pecs and the lats in shape. Certainly think if, there was a bit of a caboodle, a bit of a kerfuffle, I could certainly hold my own in a
Big
bar.
and strong.
Strongish, yeah.
Handy with a mallet.
I certainly think I can use weaponry.
This is Sports Desk. I'm Alan Partridge. Fishing news. The British angling competition. Latest score, anglers 532, fish nil. Shock news today from swimming star Duncan Goodhue, whose hair has grown back overnight, destroying the cheery, bald swimming star image that has made him the toast of the twin worlds of sport and no hair. Goodhue feels he's at crisis point in his career due to the inevitable revenue loss from his moonlighting as a cheery, bald swimming star quiz and chat show celebrity.
Green Desk.
Green News update from me, Rosie May. Events diary. There's a fungus foray and mushroom vigil in Dulwich on Sunday. Meet at 7 o'clock by the dump.
Green Desk.
Weaving. Weaving might be the homemaking science of the future. A trip to the new environmentalist theme park Weave World near Cardiff shows how rushes can be woven into houses, hats, helicopters and imaginary friends. Ella Campion, self-styled queen of Weave World itself, is an unashamed champion of what she calls the woven life. Her home, her bicycle, her bed linen, even her hair and pants are all products of rush weaving.
Environmental news. If it's green, we'll cover it.
And remember, green is the colour of mercy. In a moment, news of this week's prime story, the World Summit on the Future. But first, as you probably heard, our reporter Kevin Smear has won this year's Golden Fist Award for Irresistible Journalism. His winning piece was the controversial documentary Kenneth Baker's World of Shame, in which, after 6-month search, Smear eventually found the Home Secretary slumped in the corner of an amusement arcade in Hunstanton, talking candidly about his secret life.
There are problems, of course, with certain young boys. And during the summer, I've been having a series of private meetings with police officers and indeed church leaders. The Archbishop of Canterbury came to one. The Chief Rabbi came to another.
And you can hear the full story at 12:10 on Sunday in a programme which replaces the scheduled edition of Desert Island Discs.
On the hour with Christopher Morris and other reporter presenters.
The World Summit on the Future starts today in Boslin, principal city of Limpany. Joining me now down the line to describe the opening is our reporter, Christopher Morris. The sound of a man sweeping up some change. And sweeping changes were top of the agenda when the delegates met today. The only delay to a prompt start was a technical hitch in the installation of the American president's golf course. The difficulty arose because, in accordance with internationally agreed specifications, the summit is taking place on a boat. That settled, the delegates filed into their log cabins and began debating whose log cabin to use for their meetings and whether to feature a real or gas effect roaring hearth for the television coverage. Then, under the watchful eye of the vagrant caribou demanded by the Eskimos, the giant meringue sculpture of Hercules, and the traditional bucket of wasps, the delegates began the conference according to the agreed protocol. Each speaker to kneel on a silk napkin grasping the staple of truth, proposals to be delivered in a monotone to avoid the deceptive colouring of inflection and emphasis, and the end of each speech to be signalled by the removal of a limb or a forfeit. And earlier today, I've been finding out what people think about the summit with a microphone. Looking at the future, is it a leaky vessel?
Very. Yeah, it is very.
What shape is the future?
Well, spiky, I suppose.
The future, what are the overall prospects?
I think it will be good.
So the prospects for overall's good?
Yes.
Blue, black, red or green?
Blue.
You'd go for blue overalls?
Yes.
On the hour. Current affairs broadcasting melded with the broadness of life.
I want to know is who left this potato in the way. Tennis now, and with 38 weeks to go before Wimbledon fortnight, here's a special report on the state of British tennis with our correspondent David Highness.
With only 3.5 months to go before Wimbledon, it seems an opportune moment to examine the state of British tennis today. Britain currently has 3 world-class players on the circuit, seeded 674th to 676th. Britain's tennis coach, Julia Courtney-Hayhoe, takes the credit for this achievement. I spoke to her at the Virginia Wade Tennis School in Surrey.
Now, if you look back, Virginia Wade won in 1977. And if you look forward, we can see that all our players look terribly, terribly smart. They have good haircuts, they have nice thighs. British tennis is doing very well, actually. Now, Virginia Wade won in 1977.
But 87-year-old Stan Naylor remembers better days. He was Wimbledon champion from 1921 to 29.
What was the competition like? Well, who were you up against?
Well, it was pretty bloody stiff. There was Jenkins, of course, who I was at Oxford with. He was a fellow blue. And then there were the Cambridge boys, Jones and Jones. They were brothers.
And the 4 of you were at the top of your profession?
We were the profession.
You were that good?
Well, we were the profession. I mean, there was no one else.
I'm sorry, there were only 4 in the entire competition?
Yes, I think you could say that.
I see, so there were only 4 seeds, there were only 4...
No, 3 seeds. 3 seeds and a 4th, a googly.
For an insight into modern-day training methods, I joined a typical session at the school.
I'm with Roger King, who's supervising one of the modern-day training sessions. Roger, the methods look a little unorthodox. Can you talk us through them?
All the players in the team there, they all have their ironing boards, an ironing board each. And what they're just looking at the moment is the technique of getting the creases into their kit. You can see there's a lovely forearm that Buster has over there with his iron, and that he's been working on quite a lot. And there we see some players just practicing the taking the lemon barley water, sitting down, drinking it, and placing the cup back in the bin. We are sure that our players will do us proud on the pitch.
The court, surely. Tennis court.
Court. Margaret Court.
I mean, they play on the tennis court, not a pitch. I'm sure that's cricket.
No. Really?
The irony is that 14 years after Virginia Wade's great victory, the shockwaves are being felt all over the world, and no more so than here in Paraguay City. To the Paraguayans, Virginia Wade is a monument. Even today, they name children of both sexes after her. I spoke to 9-year-old Virginia Wade Iglesias.
We have no racket or ball, nor my brothers, senor, but God has given branches to the trees, and the branches give their sticks to us, and they are our rackets.
So, what are our future prospects? Susanna Sharper is the school's most recent graduate. She has just played 3-year-old Bolivian girl Monica Perez de Cuellar. How did she fare?
Yeah, I was beaten to love. I mean, I didn't score 1 point, but it was quite a good game.
And how do you feel about her approach to the game?
Well, I thought she looked terribly sloppy. She didn't drink hardly any barley water. I drank much, much more than her. And she had these rather chunky brown thighs. And she had hairy armpits as well. And I frankly think she should have lost a lot of points on style. I mean, she kept hitting the ball where I couldn't get it.
Do you think perhaps you have anything more to learn about the game?
I think she has. I think she could wash her kit.
On the hour, spooning the more important grain from the news hopper.
Later in the programme, more on the Penelope Keith riots in South Africa. But first, the Department of Transport Clean Up Roads campaign starts today. Drivers can help by dragging a bit of old cloth or a dustpan and brush along behind the car. And the talks continue at the World Summit on the Future.
I shall be there.
Let's pause now for some prayer desk thoughts from Monsignor Trebe Lopez.
The devil is evil with the D of damnation. God is good with the round O of oh yeah added. Leap ye lizards, dance, O ye dogs, dwarves, tumble. As an insect is known by its doings, so are the adulterous beknownst to the Lord. Eat, be merry, shun war, love your neighbour, ignore the menstruators, behave politely, move around at an even pace, wear shirts, nibble nuts, caper, but the greatest of all the commandments is nibble nuts.
This week's Special Concern report comes from our music correspondent Wayne Carr, who's been finding the works of Satan recorded backwards on pop records.
The work of recording satanic messages backwards on popular records started with the Beatles and before. Alex Maloney of the Congregational Church of Elim Pentecostal Christians tours the country giving seminars in which he plays records backwards to demonstrate the evil within. I phoned him up and played him his own most famous example with Queen and Another One Bites the Dust.
Another one bites the dust.
Alex, let me ask you, first of all, how does it feel when you hear that?
There's, how can I explain it? A quickening in my spirit. What I'm actually hearing is it's fun to smoke marijuana. The spirit behind the intention is definitely from a satanic force.
Well, this next shocking example is from Madonna. It's all too clear that's referring to drugs with the words, have another sniff, you'll like it.
Yeah, got it that time. I'd actually blocked my own mind there because the one I was expecting was Satan, I Love Him.
I think we all know that one.
Yeah.
Pin your lugs back and check out this debasing example from the God musical Jesus Christ Superstar.
Should I speak of love? Love keeps Harish, but I
Elaine Page singing Oh More Cheap Savage, Rush Now You Savage, and I Admit Your Powders.
Yeah, it's there. It's definitely there. I think what we're seeing is the net is being thrown even wider.
Satan's vomit has penetrated a long way.
Very much so. They're drawing the youngsters in.
The sick pilot whales of the record industry.
Very much so. And it's been going on ever since the Beatles and before.
Have you come across an example before by the vocal megacrate Phil Collins?
I've not heard of one by Phil Collins.
See what you think of this.
Yes, I wish it would rain. Now, why? Every wish it was you. Every wish it was you.
Yeah, I got heroin in. I certainly got my heroin in.
Bang on the bonds, my heroin was in, and in my corgi's knee, which can only imply some kind of grim, bestial drug fixation with a dog that he's probably shagging. That's a shocker, isn't it, for a man with such a fine image?
Strangely enough, because these people have given themselves over to a particular type of lifestyle, it is actually a manifestation of a demonic voice through their own bodies because they've become slaves to that type of life.
They become a devil duct.
That's right. And so therefore they're used.
Some people even go so far as to...
Oh, yes. Well, you know, Scripture tells us in Proverbs 4:16 and 17, they cannot sleep until they make somebody fall.
The little old man
they
with
will not
raspberries.
know slumber until they do evil.
Pottering
They
around,
eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence.
cocking the legs
And
on
really
the
that
bushes.
is a scripture which points to
Falling
the
over.
way that it just goes on and on and on and on
Yep.
until people are absolutely
Drunk.
drenched in...
The gastric juices of evil.
Oh, it's awful.
Perhaps most shocking of all, our last example is a record for kids.
Broke off his horse's head. There's the saucy fucker.
Do you count that as very grim or very, very grim?
I think it's very, very grim. It's woven its way so much through that I don't think now any group can get onto the rock scene without being infiltrated.
Without having Satan in its bowels.
Very much so.
Amen.
There's the saucy fucker.
Wayne Carr with that disturbing story. This is On the Hour. Coming up over the next 843 seconds, outcry as Ford recall all cars.
We're not saying it's dangerous. It's just that if it came into contact with a child, then one of them would melt.
And pay global heed, say the Met Office.
Well, if the public insists on wearing these, then Newcastle will be under a ton of water by Ash Wednesday.
And as the hot weather continues, Britain is counting the cost. A farmer in Cumbria committed suicide after discovering the withering overnight temperatures had reduced his precious dairy cattle to the size of grasshoppers. And as water becomes increasingly scarce in the New Forest, several wardens have reported trees fighting for dew towards dawn. For a roundup of the latest weather prospects, here's Suzanne Charlton at the London Weather Centre.
Most places likely to be plagued by that, parts of Essex and Kent, Northern Ireland, northern parts of England, East Anglia, Wales, the Midlands and down towards the south-east. But the south-west, West Wales, Northern Ireland and in the far north of England and Northern Ireland, the cloud will increase during the day. That shows where the cloud's going to move into turning cloudy, though in Northern Ireland the cloud more likely to stick, some low cloud there, but in complete contrast, cloudy with a little patchy drizzle. That's it.
Good. Still to come, studio analysis on the summit from Paddy Ashdown.
Can I just make one final point, Nick, and that's this?
No. Time for Sports Desk with Alan Partridge.
This is Sports Desk. I'm Alan Partridge. Confusion at the end of the American football Super Bowl in LA this week, as both teams claimed victory, and there was no one in the ground who was exactly sure how the scoring system works or of the basis upon which the points are awarded. Coach Eni Ramal of the LA Dogs said surely it's how much you throw the ball around that counts, while Zine Norcioni of the New York Dogs countered no, it's how fast you go up and down. That's what means you win. And news in from the Dolphinarium Brighton, where kindly local dolphins and otters have come up with a novel way to solve the financial crisis of newly haired ex-bald swimming star Duncan Goodhue, their human aqua friend. They're planning to join with Goodhue in a musical aqua show involving leaping through hoops, catching fish and clicking. The dolphins and otters will wear wigs to remind even the most hard-hearted onlooker of the tragedy of Goodhue's misfortune. Duncan is hoping that the proceeds from the show will enable him to buy an electric razor or else a cheap novelty bald joke wig.
Alan Partridge with today's sport. And before you go, Alan, I gather that your wife rose from the dead this weekend.
Yeah, I was wondering how long it would take for that one to get round. Yeah, I was doing a spot of decorating and right like a ball out of the blue, there was my wife, with a couple of other members of the living dead.
Any smell involved?
Quite a bit, I can tell you. A bit of a hoy there, but... So I had to, got out the garden hose, sort of clean her up a bit, and certainly I do love her, even though there's a smell.
The onset of putrefaction hasn't destroyed the charm.
Yeah.
On the Hour, maximum use of the BBC's news resources.
And now it's time for a video review, and our reviewer this week is Bob Tiff. Bob, have you found it an interesting selection this week?
Thank you, Chris. And 3 new films to tell you about this week, all of them specially rewritten and reshot for the video market. A case in point is Merchant Ivory's Room with a View 2, set like its predecessor in a Tuscan summer of long ago. touching and sturdy performances by a stalwart team of British actors, including Denham Elliott, Judi Dench and Maggie Smith, are somewhat marred by the presence in the video version of a lethal swamp monster who stalks the streets of Florence by night, devouring Anglican clergymen. Overall, a disappointment. But there is a convincing performance as Chagrin the cleric-slaying mud creature from Simon Callow. Missouri is the setting for Woody Allen's new offering, Vacation of the Heart, another dowdy production from the former comedian. 4 middle-aged New York sitcom producers meet up at a remote mountain ranch. Dave and Marty are both in love with Danny's wife, Sue, while the fourth man, Melvin, has suddenly fallen in love with himself and has decided to make a film about it. Gradually, as the weekend progresses, Melvin and Dave discover more about themselves than Danny and Marty did of each other. Here's a clip.
Dave, I don't think I can write it.
Oh, for Christ's sake, what do you mean you can't write it?
I mean this joke. I can feel it, but I can't write it.
Yeah, but comedy is about feeling.
Yeah, but where's the joke? Maybe I'm the joke. Or the joke. He's acting my arm off.
Woody Allen and Michael Murphy there, with a brief appearance as the mutilated axe-wielding corpse of a long-dead Nazi by Mia Farrow, of course. Vacation of the Heart. And finally we go to the bottom of the pile, in every sense. From TriStar Videos comes Revenge of the Stinking Dead. The title, sleeve notes, and indeed still photographs on the cover promise much entertaining spilling of gore and severing of limbs. But sadly, all this is lacking in the film itself. Director Bill Goering misses several opportunities to spatter the old red stuff, and instead shamelessly concentrates on the slight tale of a young Russian peasant boy struggling to nurture his gift for the viola, while managing the demands of his dead father's farm. What should have been an enjoyable 90 minutes of nubile high school flesh meeting a frenzy of blood-caked blades becomes instead an exploitational and complex parable of the conflicting demands of agrarianism and artistry. I voted a miss.
On the hour. Choice morsels from a broad kitchen.
More news now from the World Summit on the Future.
Can I just make one final point, Nick, and that's this?
No. And the summit has, of course, been a rich source of material for comic satirists. Our reporter Steve Largesse paid a visit to the offices of Radio 4's long-running irreverent romp through the week's news. Thank God it's Satire Day.
It's 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning, and I'm holding in my hand a blank piece of paper. But by Saturday evening, not only must this page be full of thought-provoking topical jokes, but those jokes must be broadcast on the radio to be heard by us. So, just how is this unbelievable and amazing transformation brought about? Well, I'm here at the Satire Day Writers' Meeting to find out. Well, here goes. Hello! Hello, 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 hello!
Hello! Nice to see you.
So here we are.
Steve, sit down. Meet the others.
Deborah Lindsay is the producer.
Right. This summit conference, guys, any ideas? Martin?
Yeah, Deb. Well, I was thinking it through last night. It just seemed to me like quite a clever angle if we sort of took it back to Robin Hood and like we portrayed Gorbachev as Robin Hood and connect that with, like, John Major could be the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yes, I'll hold on to that, Martin. Richard?
Yeah, I had an idea, actually. What about if we did a parallel with the Robin Hood story, only taking Robin Hood to be John Major and Gorbachev to be Sheriff of Nottingham? I think that might be a nice little make a few points that way. Yeah.
Yes, I like it. I like it.
And then Mrs. Thatcher could be like Maid Marian, maybe.
That's fantastic. I'm going to go with it.
No, because
Friar Tuck could be Willy Whitelaw or something, maybe.
No, that wouldn't work.
Norman Willis?
Maybe. Yeah, but it is. I'll go away and work on it, and then maybe I'll show it to you.
I think the two of you should get your heads together, go down to the coffee bar, talk through, bash it through,
but
come
I'll
back
take it
upstairs.
away. I'm on a 5-minute commission. If I share it with him, then I've only got 2.5 minutes.
I think we can thrash this through when actually the sketch is written, guys. Shall we?
So I'll write it, then we'll thrash it through, yeah?
Yeah, but I'll do the actual writing, and Richard can, advise, maybe.
Commissioned writer Martin Longthorpe has been writing for Satire Day for 23 years.
The thing I always like to throw into the pot is the Robin Hood idea. Because I think, Robin Hood, it's endless. Robin Hood will always be there. And so I chuck it in every week.
Well, here we are, 24 hours later. The script has been written, and Richard's Robin Hood sketch is chosen to be performed for the show.
Ha-ha! I am Robin John Major Hood.
Yes, you are so short-sighted. You probably wear some kind of hood.
I rob from the poor and give to the rich because I am completely evil and government is really bad if it's right-wing.
Yes, with you in charge, I doubt we'll win the next election.
Makes you think, Iron Maid Marion. Oh, and apparently there's been some kind of summit this week as well.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
I'd say my ultimate ambition for Satire Day is to bring down the Tories and their shamefaced hypocrisy. But also, and more importantly, I'd like to give old and middle-class people in the South East something to chuckle about on a Saturday night.
Thank God It's Satire Day was written by Larkagen Babs, Gingerly Roundabouts, Polly Pantomime, Stephen Hull Hosiery, Peru, Dick Hickory, Simeon Samion, Beanbolt Banbendy, Lennon Barry, Harry Bean, Therese and Tommy Territory, with newslines by Melton Stitt, Massingbird, Gary Riot, Keith Brouhaha, Christ, Lardidar Hardcastle, Engelbert Impromptu, and Fact Portugal. It's 10 to 3 to 4 to 5, and the conclusions of the summit have just been announced. And the first surprise was the announcement itself, which was made in a new world language called interglotty. The decisions were as follows.
Human tree.
Good evening.
Kleb tree behong. Shabaka shabaka shalil.
The
lub shahunda portion.
Future would be better if everything was moved over to the left a bit. Builders didn't have arses.
Horblytrot.
There were a few more red things.
Suck fu haka.
And people breathed out less often than they breathed in.
Now.
And at home, public reaction to the new rulings has been swift.
What do you think of the proposals for breathing out a little less often?
I would think you're barking up a sticky wicket there.
And say for every 20 times you breathe in, how many times should you breathe out?
About 10.
What do you think of the very latest proposals to make a few more red things?
Well, I don't think very much, really. I don't like too highly coloured things.
So what do you think of the let's make a few more red things society?
I expect it attracts the younger people, but it doesn't appeal to me so much.
Well, there's enough red things about in there.
Are there?
There's enough red things about, like fire engines, post boxes.
What could be the danger in having too many red things?
Well, if you have too many red things, your eyes start going.
How many more red things should we be allowed?
Well, about 3 or 4.
A successful end to the World Summit on the future.
Can I just make one final point?
No.
Closing music.
And it's time for a look at tomorrow's headlines. The Times, farmer loses piece of straw in unexpected gust disaster. They're devoting 12 pages to that story. The Telegraph, Penelope Keith riots end in shaving contest. The Independent, Tory backbench in sword fight with devil. There's a diagram there of hell. And The Sun, Princess Di's hair dishevelled by 7-inch tornado. That's it, and wherever you're going, hello. This is On the Hour at Christmas. Mary, Joseph, and the news.
On the Hour. Such is politics.
It's a painful business.
On the Hour.
What you mustn't do in politics is listen to people.
It's a painful business.
On Radio 4. Such is politics.
I think it is increasingly accepted that a country cannot pursue policies.
I think we're extremely unwise to raise this question.
But Mr. Scargill didn't have the floor with him.
On the Hour with Christopher Morris.
And I am here. The top stories on the day the world was saved.
The headlines.
7 million Italians in elastic bishop stampede. Left-wing footballer shoots cat. And expandable fruit in creeping neck unpleasantness.
On the Hour.
Plus, coming up, why Christmas this year has gone with a bang for the people of Reading.
It was about 20 miles away. You could hear it very loudly. 2 very loud bangs, one after the other. Then one of the reindeer landed very near me on my mother.
And in our regular feature, It's Your Mouth, we feature public opinion on animal cruelty.
What do you think of shooting horses?
Well, one hardly shoots horses for sport.
What does one do it for?
Presumably, only if necessary.
And who should they be shot at?
Well, presumably a qualified veterinary surgeon.
And a very full Christmas, especially to you. The main story this morning. Northamptonshire County Council has admitted that the village of Spratton has been lost. The disappearance was discovered last night by terrified Wassailers who reported that the road leading to the village just ended in a sort of gap. The vanishing follows several reports that the village had been working itself loose around the edges. Meanwhile, the council has issued an emergency statement in a bid to prevent a full-scale panic. It says that friends and relatives in the village are still contactable by phone, but they do not know they have been lost and must on no account be told.
On the hour, delivering the news goods in the season of good news.
In a moment, a seasonal thought for the day from Monsignor Trebe Lopez. But first, Ani Domino 1992. What kind of year was it? Who's been and gone? And what exactly happened? Behold, part 1 of the On the Hour Year in News. This year started in January, when almost immediately there was news of a major blunder in Europe, in which Great Britain lost the dates January the 10th, May the 8th, June the 22nd and August the 6th in a disastrous bet with other community members. The wager, made when the British delegate ran out of money at the Brussels Dog Stadium, was lost outright, with the Germans, French and Spanish gleefully adding the extra dates to their own calendars and laughing at the now sadly diminished 361-day British year. February, and more difficulties for Mr. Yeltsin as his enemies in the Kremlin brought the struggling Russian government to its knees. Although clearly bitter, the beleaguered president vowed to carry on with new objectives.
I'm distraught. It seems very strange that elected representatives of the people can do this to the people, and I must talk to my advisers. And hopefully we'll come up with a plan which at least will save football in Maidstone.
News ambition. In March, unprecedented chaos hit the railways as drivers stopped their engines and refused to drive them any further in a protest over dangerous lines. A spokesman explained, "If you look down the track, the rails get closer together towards the horizon. With fixed-gauge rolling stock, this gradual narrowing is likely to derail our trains." Late March, and with election fever at bursting point, Labour's strategy blew up in its face when it was revealed that in making one of the most shocking political broadcasts ever shown, Robin Cook had deliberately thrown a child off a cliff. 364 yesterdays today. August the 18th, and a dark night for the film world when at a dinner to launch his new film Chaplin, Richard Attenborough stood up and exploded. October was dominated throughout by the televised live contest between Bobby Fischer and Boris Spassky to see who could pee highest up a wall in Yugoslavia. And then in December, the nation was stunned when the dramatic contents of the Queen's Christmas speech were leaked by the press.
This year, I am speaking to you not from Buckingham Palace, but from a cross. And it was from this house that my grandfather, King George V, and my father, curiously enough, used to service men and women.
Part 2 of our news review in about 738 seconds. And if you've just joined us, it's Christmas. Christmas is the time of year in which much concern is expressed over pets given as presents. To discuss the issue, we've booked a line enabling us to telecommunicate with RSPCA representative Cindy Peters. Hello, Cindy.
Sandy. S-A-N-D-Y. Sandy.
Let's stick with Cindy, I prefer that. Cindy, the big RSPCA manager.
Yeah, hip bath.
Hip bath?
Sorry?
No problem. Let's start from basics so everyone knows what we're talking about. What is a dog?
It's an animal that actually lives with people.
They all have hair, don't they?
They've all got some fur on them.
Woof. What problems arise when a dog is given as a gift?
The problems arise is the person who's giving it hasn't even thought it through of whether the person would actually like it.
This is really very bad behaviour indeed.
Well, yes, I mean it is. It's absolutely thoughtless that people are still, even today in 1991, giving animals as pets.
What small percentage of the brain do you reckon's involved in this thoughtlessness?
I think that there's hardly any thought gone into it.
Less than 5%?
Well, yes.
So, if you do give a dog as a present, what should you wrap it in?
A dog shouldn't be wrapped in anything. This is what a lot of people forget.
What about if it was in paper that smells of a dog?
No. The animal, the dog has feelings. We don't wrap a person in a box with a pretty bow on the top.
Now, if somebody does receive an unwanted dog, the best way to get rid of it must be to dump it on a motorway.
I honestly would say that it's just disgusting, and it is not an effective method. There are other ways of being effective.
There are dual carriageways as well?
Yes, that's right.
And railway lines?
Yeah, I mean, people throw them out.
How can you get rid of it?
You've got Animal Concern, you've got Canine Defence League, you've got voluntary organisations.
Yeah, well, I must say I'm not surprised.
Sorry?
I'd always had my suspicions about those kind of organisations. Thanks very much for joining us, whoever you were.
On the hour, facing the facts from a bowl of bread sauce.
Now, Christmas may mean a time of rest for most of us, but for some, it's just another hard day's work. Our team of out-and-about reporters has been scattered far and wide to seek out the heroes without whom the country would grind to its knees. First, Jimmy Tinker has been to Leicester.
That's absolutely right. I'm talking to some very special people, and here's one of them. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
What's your name?
Stan.
Well, Stan, the reason you're special is because, while our present wrappings are lying about deep and crisp and even, yes, you here will be hard at work. Now, what work will you be doing on Christmas Day?
I'll be home on Christmas Day.
What work will you be doing on Christmas Day?
Very little. Very little.
Nice joke. Now, when you come along here on Christmas morning, what time are you going to start work?
Christmas morning?
Yes, that's right.
No, I shan't be here Christmas morning. You're wrong, really.
Oh.
Jimmy Tinker. And Rodney Pugh has been at large in Bristol.
Well, of course, that's absolutely right, you see, because I've come down to Hospital Porter HQ with someone very special. What's your name?
Harry.
And you're very special, aren't you? Because while we're all enjoying Christmas, with the wrapping paper lying about deep and crisp and even, you'll be working extremely hard. So at 9 o'clock on Christmas morning, you come in here.
No, not here, no. I must be at home, I expect, I hope.
So you're not working Christmas after all?
No, I must be at home.
Well, despite all that, hello.
Hello.
Green Desk.
Green News update from me, Rosie May. Sweat. Scientists at the International Sweat Research and Smelling Centre, Diyarbakir, Turkey, have stumbled across an amazing new fact. Apparently, far from trying to eradicate sweat with newfangled deodorants, we should actually encourage it. Sweat contains special gases of some kind that help the ozone layer. It's no coincidence that the sweatiest people on planet Earth are the French, and that the ozone layer is at its strongest directly over their capital city, Paris.
Green Desk.
Have sex with me and save a tree, says Lombard Gnarly of Vancouver. He invites anyone to have sex with him and save a tree. Lombard is a lumberjack, and any time he spends having sex will be time he can't spend destroying the Earth's environment.
Environmental news. If it's green, we'll cover it.
Well, I'm joined now by Alan Partridge for a review of the year's sport. Alan, I gather you've just been sick.
You're not wrong there. I certainly was sick a couple of hours ago, funnily enough, and I don't know, mixing of drinks and food and whatnot. It was a bit of a lethal cocktail, and certainly a lot of that came out in one big
emesis nemesis.
You might say that. Anyway, I've got quite an amusing story about Christmases of the past. The turkey we were going to have was I was supposed to go and pick it up. And I put it in the back of the car, which was going to take it to...
Can you hurry up, please? We're running out of time.
Yeah, I'll just hurry. And put it in the back of the car, and it was the wrong car. So this car drove off, the wrong turkey in. Yeah, just went... we never saw it again, basically. We had to get another one. We had to buy another one.
Is that what happened? Is that all that happened, then? You just put a turkey in the wrong car?
Yeah, it was at the time. You know, you had to laugh about it.
Surely there must have been something else which happened, which made this event worth recounting.
It was a long time ago. I think something else probably happened, like someone fell over or something. Yeah, it was very funny, yeah. I seem to remember now. It's coming back. Someone did fall over. Yeah.
Happy Christmas, Alan.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Oh, dear.
Well, on that cheery note, let's have a look back at some of the other cheery events. Thanks, Chris. I feel a lot better.
Start the tape.
I wonder who it was who said, if a week is a long time in politics, then a year is 12 months in sport. I wonder. I am Alan Partridge, and this is my year of sport. Welcome. You join us here as Manchester United and Liverpool, the two giants, battle it out at the derby, or well, not near derby, of two teams who are quite close, battling for the prize, which is a result in this case, down there on the pitch. And I've got to say, it's foggy, very foggy. It's adding in a way to the atmosphere. The fog here hanging like some sort of grey flannel, dirty grey flannel hanging here on a sort of, if you imagine the pitch is a towel rail, obviously a big one, big towel rail with a big grey flannel hanging. I can't see much. That's the main problem here. A lot of fog, certainly hanging fog. A great match. Earlier on this year, my wife said to me, Alan, you've gone to the dogs. And in a way she was right, because what a magnificent year it's been for dog racing. And they're off. Number 5 straight into the lead there. A very well-bred hound running there right in front of the other dogs. There's the rabbit, or the hare, whatever. He's after that. Not a real one, of course, thank goodness, as these greyhounds or whippets, whatever they are, doing really well. All racing round in a corner. Thank goodness it's not a real hare or a rabbit, because I'll tell you, I've seen some of those things happen. I've seen some of those poor old rabbits and hares, and they just get hold of them and tear them to pieces. Not a nice thing. Just tear them, little bunny, all being torn by dogs. Horrid. Anyway, there they are, round the course. And I'm just so relieved it's not a real rabbit, honestly. Because it's just not right. You know, some of them live for hours. It's terrible. Anyway, and here they come. In motor racing, the cars were truly on form. Formula One style. Mansell closely followed by Prost, followed by Senna, Berger, Piquet. Mansell's held it all the way. It's very difficult to see how he can lose the lead now. Yes, I'm right. Yes, I was right. He's still in the lead. Mansell is in the lead, followed by Senna, Prost, Berger and Piquet, and some others behind them. Some foreign but quite good racing drivers following him. Amazing. But here comes Mansell. He's still in the lead with Senna and Prost and Berger, just like before. In the same row, Mansell looks like he's going to win. Through the chicane. On all the others, through the chicane. Amazing. Mansell, Senna, just the same. Amazing. Through the chicane. Through the chicane. Amazing. This is Alan Partridge, and these are my sports. They've been good, they've been fast, they've been clean. Let's keep it that way in the coming year. Goodbye and good sport.
Fine and just sentiments, Al. Cheers very much indeed.
On the hour, still very much concerned with important events, despite the seasonal levity.
The time is 3 from the first quarter with minutes. In a moment, news. But first, over to Suzanne Charlton at the BBC Weather Centre. I gather we're in for a rather mild day today, Suzanne.
Strong winds, yes. It's going to feel rather chilly. Temperatures 14 to 13 to 15 to 16 to 70 degrees Celsius, generally about 12 degrees. Some sheltered eastern areas seeing a fair amount of sunshine in between a few whales. They're quite heavy. The bulk of them coming along later in the day to the north. They'll really gather together to give prolonged spells of whales. Could cause some structural damage. And by this evening, over the top of the Snowdonia, there could well be some degrees.
Thank you, Suzanne. And now the continuity announcer has news of Radio 4's programmes coming up later on today.
In half an hour, just after 11 o'clock, Jonathan Hewitt opens his Christmas box of bloopers, including David Wells's classic report from war-torn Beirut, in which he says, "This is David Wells reporting live from Beirut," and is then killed by a sniper's bullet. Then at 12:30, it's vintage comedy in Christmas Smash of the Day. For
From the Light Programme's comedy archive, we present a classic episode of Moneybox, that maelstrom of anarchic humour from Louise Botting and her team of rogues.
Home income plans seem the answer.
15% per annum before tax.
But are you covered by your motor policy? And the subject is small business. From me, Louise Botting, goodbye.
Louise Botting, Louise Botting, Louise Botting, Louise Botting, and her fiscal totting will stop your finance clotting, so you can afford to go yachting. Frankly, I am hotting to do some frotting with horny Louise Botting. Oh yes, I want to go frotting with horny Louise Botting. That's half an hour of classic comedy at 12:30 here on Radio 4. And there's just time for an SOS message. It's about an immediate family who have been lost in the Dulwich area. They're called the Harrises, and they were lost by Mr. Gavin Harris this morning when they fell out of his car as they rounded a corner.
It's 8 o'clock on Wednesday, the 16th of October.
And the news today, fighting. Plus, lined up on the next reel, why Bradford City Council have decided to poison all taxi drivers.
They have parked, and they have parked, and they have parked. They will not park again.
And we will be asking how a non-commercial organisation like the BBC can broadcast advertisements like this.
Oi, fatso! If you're packing too much lard, then you'll know just how it feels to be called nicknames like Dough Planet, Wobble Hobble and Cellulite City. But starting next week, only in The Sun, a brand new series that will really kebab the flat as we reveal the full secrets behind the Terry Waite diet. Just how did Tubby Terrence shrink from Mr. Mascasic to Terry the Twig? What did Hezbollah do for his belly? Or did he just look larger then because he was stuck with guns to swap for hostages? Find out next week, only in The Sun, as we serialise the ultimate Weight Watchers diet.
But first, the news, and more on Education Secretary Kenneth Clarke's campaign to stop parents lying to their children. Civil Service truth detectives have been visiting schools to warn children about the parental dishonesty. This interview was recorded in an infant's playground in Brighton.
Right, who do you believe comes down the chimney on Christmas Eve?
Father Christmas. He's going to give me presents.
Who told you this?
My mummy and my daddy.
Well, I'm afraid your mummy and daddy have told you a wicked lie. Father Christmas does not exist. Do you understand?
No.
He doesn't exist. Right, repeat after me. Mummy and daddy are very bad liars.
Mummy and daddy are very bad liars.
If they ever tell me such rubbish again, I'll report them to the police.
If they do it, we'll report them to the police.
Good.
On the hour, choice morsels from a broad kitchen.
And now Monsignor Trebe Lopez with his Christmas thought for the day.
A dog barks, a cat meows. What do you do?
Monsignor Trebe Lopez. Now, Christmas is also a time for relaxation. Here's Glenn Cairns with his weekly roundup of advice on taking a break.
It's time to go away on a jolly holiday. Go away, bloody go away.
And a warm, festive felicitation to you and your kith on this Christmas morning. Pearls, indeed, pigs of wisdom offered today on how to go away on Boxing Day. But first, Barry Simpson will reach deep into his hamper and produce a feast of facts about ferries. Thanks very much. And Seawood Ferries are offering a 30% discount to passengers who hand over their car keys to the crew as they get on board. This is so the crew can race up and down the car deck during the journey, which the company say will boost low staff morale. Litany Ferries are offering a midnight mass service on all night crossings. Ticket price includes a free wafer host for each passenger with a Golden Boss Company logo stamped on the back. And don't forget B&Z's very reasonable stowaway rate. You can cross the channel for £20 return, providing you don't go inside, and that you sleep in what little shelter you can find on the deck.
To keep you warm, a bowl of hot punch will be on display in the bar, clearly visible through a big window. And that's it.
Thank you, Barry. Now you can go and have a shave. Now, if you've taken an emotional nosedive into a deep hibernal gloom, a spoonful of holiday planning is probably just the fillip you need. And here with a Panacean prescription is Gregory Shape with our resort report.
Yes, well, I'm standing next to Good Times expert. What's your name?
Mr. Humphreys.
Mr. Humphreys, for our resort report. What do you make of the facilities around here?
They're all right for shopping.
Not so good for the average holidaymaker?
Oh, not really for the holidaymaker, no.
Is there much fun to be had here?
Depends what you mean by fun. I mean...
Would this be any help? Is that any good for anybody?
What?
Does that add to the fun?
Oh, a bit of banging.
All right, Mr. Humphreys, thanks for standing around with us and dwelling on this resort.
And a very good bus service, yeah.
Our gratitude to Gregory. Now, there's a veritable potpourri of seasonal events over the next few days. We've pinched a choice nosegay from among the dried petals with this resume of some of the Yuletide festivities. And the Saffron Walden Pig Hunt is this Sunday in Saffron Walden. At dawn, 78,000 pigs will be released into the area, and you'll have all day to look for them. The organisers say they want a better result than last year, when only 12 out of 50,000 pigs were recovered. The All England Under-5 Judo Weekend starts this Saturday in Buxton in Derbyshire. The youngsters are very skilled for their age, but still pretty easy to throw around. So if you're feeling pent up or angry, why not go along and have a fight with an under-5? Admission is free. And if it's the outdoors you're after, the Wiltshire Bollards meet in Swindon tomorrow at 10:30. There's a shortage of bollards in the area, so come dressed in white and orange markings and be a bollard for the day. Coffee and biscuits. Well, that pretty much renders the carcass to an acceptable stock for today. Just remains me to point out that the police have told us they're expecting most roads to be empty, which means presumably that there won't be too many police about either, and you'll probably be able to go out for a 150-mile-an-hour burn on most A roads. I particularly recommend the A44 near Chipping Norton.
Yes, it's time to go away on a jolly holiday. Go away, bloody go away.
Thanks very much indeed to Glenn Cairns and the Go Away team. Now, the year that was still is, but not for long. When today is next year, how will we remember the last 12 months? Here's the end of it. High summer in July, and the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games etched a deep crevice into the world's brain. At the climax of the historic pageant, the Olympic flame was lit by opera singer Jose Carreras, who was set on fire on the stadium floor and catapulted 150 feet up into a cauldron of inflammable gas. Madonna, never far from the headlines, was front-page news again in September when she released an album consisting entirely of her own burps, accompanied by a book of graphic photographs of herself burping. At the Tory conference in October, a beleaguered John Major, fighting both the miners and a stricken pound, did his best to rally the party faithful with a rousing display of inspirational rhetoric.
That is our programme for the 90s. Let me put it for you in a single phrase. First, peace at any price, either piecemeal, nor in part, nor in whole. Never, not today, not ever, once and for all.
182.5 hours of newscasting.
November the 23rd, and Silence of the Lambs actor Anthony Hopkins, touring Britain in a deer suit to publicise road safety, was run over on the M62. But November will perhaps be best remembered as a month of religious turmoil, as the General Synod of the Church of England voted to allow badgers to be ordained as ministers. Early December saw the start of yet another bleak month for the royal family when, due to a wiring fault, the Queen Mother caught fire and blazed for 2 days. Prince Andrew fearlessly braved the heat to retrieve vital organs for palace officials to place in safe storage. And then, on Christmas Day itself, the Queen addressed the Commonwealth in a speech that revealed more than a little of the strain of her annus horribilis.
I first came here for Christmas as a grandchild. My great-grandfather, King Edward VII, used to bring food and try to put it behind us. Nowadays, My grandchildren come here for the sauce, tension and violence.
And finally, a rather different kind of Christmas from where else? America, where, as CBN's Barbara Wintergreen reports, they're celebrating Christmas with conviction.
Yo ho ho!
No, it's not Santa's grotto at Mace's. It's the prison cell of convicted mass murderer Daimler Jeffries. Daimler goes to the electric chair on Christmas Day and has requested a very special set of sleigh bells.
I've always been someone who's taken out of society and never put anything in ever in my whole goddamn life. So I thought it would be a real nice treat for the kids if I went to the electric chair dressed as Santa Claus.
So Daimler has invited children from the local orphanage to attend Milwaukee's first state Santacution. And while Daimler fries thick and crisp and even, fairy lights around the chair will glow in a festive pattern. Prison Governor Keith
It's the most unusual occurrence, certainly in my time as governor. People kind of all clubbing together and giving this guy a real good send-off. And for instance, we asked the local pet center for a reindeer. They didn't have one, but they donated a raccoon and a set of antlers, which is, kind of typical.
4-year-old Mary Jo Brooke pulls the lever, and Daimler moves from death row to his death throes. This is one Santa Claus the kids will very definitely see go up the chimney. Barbara Wintergreen, CBN News, Milwaukee Penitentiary.
And there's just time to look at your top 5 votes for the quotes of the year. In 5th position was Cardinal Basil Hume's "Shove off butt crust." 4th, "I'm no Teddy Kennedy" from Teddy Kennedy. 3rd, You, and you, Kenneth Clark. And 2nd, "Do stop throwing those ice creams at my wife" from Terry Waite. And 1st, "It was easy. I just aimed the barrel at his nostrils and pumped half a kilo of lead into his big, stupid face. I know it was wrong, but I'm happy now" from Frank Sinatra. That's me, it's Christopher Morris, and whoever you are, Happy News Year.